Christmas in May. 5,000 jobs for the city of Detroit, and the mayor is determined to see Detroiters get them. Mayor Mike Duggan is here. Also, abortion debates hit a boiling point. What does that do come election time? And we'll preview the policy conference on Mackinac. Today is Sunday, May 26, 2019, and this is Flashpoint. Hi, welcome to Flashpoint. I hope you're enjoying your holiday weekend and hopefully taking time to pause tomorrow to remember those who made the ultimate sacrifice in defending our nation. This is the week that we'll be heading up to Mackinac Island for the annual policy conference. We're going to preview that coming up a little bit later on. But first, a few of the topics that will no doubt get a lot of attention at the Grand Hotel. Is it possible that Roe versus Wade could be overturned? That is the aim of several abortion bills circulating in a number of states. It's not so much about changing state law, really, as it is pushing the Supreme Court to get involved, and it has potentially enormous electoral implications. We're going to talk about that this morning. But we're going to start with what seems to me the most dramatic business development for the city of Detroit since I came here more than 20 years ago. For the first time in a generation, an auto plant is going to be built in Detroit so that a critically important vehicle can be built in Detroit. And if the mayor has anything to say about it, built by Detroiters. Mayor Mike Duggan is here to talk about that first today on Flashpoint. Well, it is a cumbersome, rather complicated deal, but as the dust starts to clear, we see the city of Detroit looking at about 5,000 new jobs coming to the first new auto plant built in the city in a generation. Let's talk about it with the mayor of Detroit, Mayor Mike Duggan. You've had a lot of, it's been an interesting couple of months for you, but this morning I just want to focus on what's going on with this enormous project. Because I believe the other day when you were announcing it, you called this the most exciting day of your administration.
You know, it's just remarkable. There hasn't been an auto assembly plant built in America in the last decade outside the South. And those that were built in the South were built on 600 acres of farmland. So for the city of Detroit to try to acquire a bunch of private property and do it in an urban setting was remarkable. But Governor Whitmer was helpful, Cindy Estrada, the UAW, of course, Tom LeWan did a great job, and the community came together. But I'm not sure anybody else would have tried to acquire 215 acres in 60 days.
It felt like you were sweating it out, this deadline. Was it ever in doubt? Or was this where Chrysler wanted to be and it was going to happen?
No. This started with a conversation I had with Sergio Marchionne a year and a half ago. And I said, all I'm asking for you is let us compete. And he said, I don't see how you can do it. You don't have any land. I said, well, I could close St. Jean. I'll close a street. And he said, look, I'll let you compete. Well, every time they cut from 7 sites to 5 sites to 3 sites, we were like the last guy clinging by our fingernails. And at the end, we convinced them that the best-selling cars in the world are really being made on Jefferson, the Jeep Grand Cherokees, and with Detroit Auto Workers. And shouldn't you want to build on that? And ultimately, I think FCA decided to build on the Detroit Auto Workers.
And the new edition of it, which means so much for our place in the mobility world, and on and on and on. I want to get to the jobs, which is a big piece of this, of course, the central part. As we reported this the other day, one of our questions was how many of these jobs really can go to Detroiters? Someone in your administration called me and said, you know what, a better question might be, if you don't live in Detroit, will you be able to get one of these jobs? Is it that rosy an outlook for Detroiters getting these? Because, as you know, those who voted against this on the city council felt like there weren't enough promises for how many jobs were going to Detroiters.
Yeah, I prefer to vote for the good majority on the city council who did support this. But the one thing I never compromised on, and we gave FCA a lot of what they wanted. We gave the Maroons more than I would have liked. I did not compromise on one thing. I wanted 100% of the jobs that were open outside the current employees to go to Detroiters. And here's the deal that I negotiated with. Detroit at Work, our operation, we'll create a list of eligible Detroiters. And whenever FCA starts to fill the jobs, the first 5,000 or for the next 30 or 40 years, they have to interview and hire from our list first. And I never gave an inch on that, and that's the provision that we've got. So we anticipate that FCA is going to start their hiring of their first 4,000 or 5,000 probably in September. And that means that we have about 8 or 9 weeks to put together a list. And the preference is not all Detroiters. The preference is who's on the Detroit at Work list. And I'm certainly hopeful we're going to put 15,000 eligible Detroiters on that list, ready to hand FCA by the end of August.
We've seen problems before, though. We saw this with the Little Caesars Arena. Qualified people with the necessary skill set. Do these need to be people who are trained and already have a skill set? Or
So remember, Little Caesars Arena was iron workers and construction industry, where we have relatively few in Detroit. Here, these are production workers on an auto line. You need to be 18 years old. You have to have a high school degree or a GED equivalent. You're going to have to pass a basic interview. You're going to have to pass a drug test. Those are the qualifications. These are jobs that if you have a high school degree, FCA will train you to do. And so what we're going to do is Detroit at Work is going to become one of the major employment agencies in America. And we are going to hold probably 80 or 100 job fairs with a couple hundred people.
That's not hyperbole in America.
So here's what's going to happen. We're going to be holding job fairs on a daily basis in churches and community groups, and you're going to come out. And not just are you going to fill out the forms, we're going to make sure you have your high school degree, we're going to make sure you have your ID, we're going to give you a sample test so you get ready for the FCA tests when you go in. We're going to give you interview skills. We probably will run a drug test ahead of time and let you know marijuana is legal in Michigan, but it's not eligible for somebody to work in an auto plant. You better make darn sure if you got it in your system, it's clear 45 days ahead of time before you get drug tested. We're going to do all this, and Detroit at Work, I hope, is going to hand FCA a list of 15,000 eligible people. And the question will be, is our list good enough? Because Detroiters have the opportunity to get first shot. So anybody who's watching, we're going to start taking the applications about mid-June, but you can go to DetroitAtWork.com right now, put in your cell phone number, we'll text you as soon as it's open, and you can also get the information on what you have to have ready for when we start. But we're going to find out how good we are.
If there's an icky part of this, the modern realities are the way that incentives work for corporations. These jobs are going to pay a very healthy, about $60,000 a year.
At the top end, right.
But if you add in all of the incentives that Fiat Chrysler is getting, whether it be land or tax breaks, it works out to about $48,000 per job. Does that bother you, or is that just kind of how it is today?
Tom Lewan showed City Council, and the reason we got so much support is the last 3 plants that went to Alabama, that went to South Carolina, went to Tennessee, we were 1/3 of the incentives. Those southern states. In other words, those southern states paid triple the per job incentive. So that's the reality. This is $60 million from the city to get a $2.5 billion investment. And not only do Detroiters get the shot at the 5,000 jobs, for the next 30 or 40 years, as long as that plant is open, they have to interview and hire from our list first. Nobody's ever gotten a 30-year guarantee of hiring your own city.
The other part, though, that is troubling a number of Detroiters is the rich always get richer. And you've got Raquel Castaneda-Lopez on the council, said she just, out of principle, could not support something that was going to enrich the Maroons as much as this deal did. They walk away with more than $40 million. Right. And what about that part of this? Does any of that bother you with the way that this land had to come together? As I mentioned, very cumbersome, what you were trying to do.
What we did was pretty remarkable. When Mayor Coleman Young bought the land for the Chrysler Jefferson plant and for the Poletown plant, he had the power of eminent domain. You could condemn the land. That's been taken away by the Supreme Court. If I had the power of eminent domain, could I knock $5 million off the Maroon purchase price? Probably, although it would have been a long legal process. But if you look at what we spent in total, it's less than half of what the city spent 30 years ago. And so the Maroons had an 80-acre parcels. They had a lease that they were getting $3 million a year for. They had a railroad track running down the middle. It was an extremely valuable piece of property. And we disagreed on what the value was, and we compromised in the middle.
Got there. Metro Times reported that Tony Suave and his company, which has always been a large political supporter of yours, just out of the blue last fall decided to buy 2 parcels of land that were solid waste disposal sites for a relative song, about $60,000 each, and that now he turns around and is able to turn that into some. Is that? And the city's saying that it was just coincidence.
Stop.
Okay.
You know what he turned it around for? You know what we paid him?
Land.
$100,000. That is all he was paid for those properties, was $100,000.
But well, he got isn't it 30 acres of land
He
on
paid
along
for
Van
those.
Dyke?
He paid $1.3 million for those. All he got was $100,000 for those 5 acres. We paid the Great Lakes Water Authority 5 times as much per acre. We paid the Maroons 10 times as much per acre. And this is why not a single member of City Council objected to that. Is Tony Suave got $100,000 out of $60 million. But this is the way this stuff goes. You're going to get second guess.
As I said, of course. And in fact, because there's so much scrutiny right now of the District Detroit and what a lot of Detroiters feel didn't happen, I think there's a lot of people wanting to see better accountability and better built-in promises. And so I guess I'm asking for both of those here. What kind of promises do you think you have from Chrysler?
Now you've gone to apples and oranges. I had nothing to do with the District Detroit deal.
Yeah,
okay?
Absolutely, but haven't we learned from it, or have we not?
I did learn from it. In every deal I've done since I've been here, we got binding commitments, whether it was the Ford deal, whether it was the recent Waymo deal for the self-driving cars.
Right.
Now it's this deal. So I can't be judged on what past administrations or what the emergency manager did in making a deal. But in this case,
But it presents you with the reality of having to show people, look, this is why this is a better deal, right?
Again, every deal stands on its own, but the contract says Detroiters have 100% of the opportunities for those jobs before you can offer them to a single suburbanite. That's clear cut. I got enforceable powers, and we in FCA are already starting to plan these job fairs. So I'm not going to debate what past people did on their deals. That's their deal. This deal, I don't know any other city in America would have tried this. But if you told anybody a year ago we would land 5,000 jobs paying up to $56,000 a year on the east side of the city of Detroit, and Devin, you know what we've already got? We've already got 2 logistics centers and a supplier plant in line to come in, another 1,500 to 2,000 jobs on the east side of Detroit to support the FCA project. So the thing about assembly plants, these are gold, because these are the guys who put the cars together. There's 8 times as many jobs making the dashboards, the steering wheels, the seats, and they want to be located close. We're going to have first shot at every one of those.
So the supplier chain hopefully builds up right around.
It will help us. It'll help Macomb County. It'll probably help the whole state of Michigan.
Mayor, there's a lot for us to talk about. Hopefully you and I'll get some time to chat up on Mackinac about other topics that are facing the city right now, but really big news, and thanks for coming in.
Good to see you, Devin.
You bet. We'll be back with more on Flashpoint right after this.